Hello, Taurus. This is your reading for the week of September 1st. And I'm laughing because I started this reading by telling my guides, I feel as though I've had kind of a veil over what you wanted to say to Taurus. Can you please clear it for me? Help me be able to be receptive to it. So they gave me an image that just broke me up laughing. And it was a caveman in his furs with a bone of meat or a bone with meat on it going about to chew and then looking around going like this, like where are the saber-toothed tigers or the dinosaurs if they even existed at that point. And I just started to laugh. And then the message that came through was that you don't have to be quite so vigilant and quite so coarse is not the right word, primitive, that you can approach life with more nuance. Then the cards that fell out were fear and choice and grief and remorse. So all of this, and then I put those back in and I just said, okay, let's really do Taurus. Now, come on, give it to me. And what I'm getting with this, Taurus, is that there are certain aspects now that are coming to you where you're starting to realize that when you slow down enough to ask the questions about what you're experiencing in your life, how you're feeling about it, that's when you're going to start realizing that the structure you're in may be fine, but if integrated into your structure is not the idea of growth, not the welcoming of growth and change out of the current situation, that at some point it's going to be too tight. And you might have missed the opportunity to build within the structure you have now an exit door. Now, that doesn't mean a retirement plan. That means if you were to stand back at your life now and say, okay, yeah, it's fine, it's good. Would you still want to be doing the life you're living now 5 years from now or 10 years from now? Because sometimes in keeping our heads down and just working with what is comfortable, what is convenient, we get into a habit where we stop dreaming, where we stop imagining, where we kind of stretch our perceptions and our feelings only to this big, because those are our limits, and we stay within that, and it's okay because we feel like we're moving forward. But what happens if you project this into 5 or 10 years down the road? Are you going to be okay living the same life then? Now, for some of you, you may already have ideas of moving beyond where you are. And you might look at your life and say, yeah, this is exactly what I want to be doing in 10 years. But the thing is, it really is, what I'm really being told here is slow down and ask yourself some questions like that. Is this may be enough for now, but is this going to be enough forever? And if you were going to be, well, I'm going to give you an example. I remember I loved my condo. It was wonderful. I was so proud of it and happy with it. And I was working from home and I had a decent business. And I remember one day standing there looking over my balcony at the night sky saying, I love this, but I don't want to die here. I don't want this to be the last place that I live. And I don't want the trajectory I'm on to stay exactly what it is. It's not enough. And it's only by doing that that I was allowing my mind to move beyond what was ostensibly very pleasing and very comfortable to me. And I didn't need to know where I wanted to go, and I didn't even need to feel like I needed to leave tomorrow. I just knew it wasn't enough for the rest of my life. And just by opening that door, that changed the energy to start shifting it to where I ended up selling my condo, moving to a place that I absolutely love, that I have never imagined I would move to, and am doing things I never thought I would. Isn't that cool? And now I'm saying the same thing to myself. This is really great. Do I want to be doing exactly the same thing in 5 years? Do I want to be living where I am in 5 years? So it's a matter of asking questions, even if you're in a good, comfy place. Because again, comfy can be very, very misleading. Comfy can be, think of words like comfortable, enough, content, and ask yourself what the limits of those words are for you and what they look like in your life now and where you might like that to be. Because Taurus, this really is a magnificent time for being able to build. The other thing that I'm hearing now as I'm saying this to you is it's not just about where you imagining yourself living your life. They're asking you also to check in with where your personal boundaries are, in terms of the roles that you've taken on with people in your life. That you're being asked to look at where those are still satisfying to you, or where they have just become patterns that are habitual, that are expected, that you fall into doing because there is an expectation, or because you haven't questioned whether or not it's necessary or good for you, or even necessarily good for the other people or person. So you're being asked to really look at the limits of the boundaries that you have too in current time. And again, it might be the kind of thing where right now it's absolutely fine that I'm doing this, and this for so and so. Do I want to be doing this next week, in a month, next year? How does that feel? And you're being asked, again, slow down in order to let yourself feel. You are a very feeling sign when you let yourself do it. And one of the best ways to start igniting what the feeling is to ask yourself questions. You can go very, very deep in your self-discovery and your self-exploration. It only takes a moment to stop and say, what's really going on, and how do I feel about it? What would I like? And I find whenever I give myself a time frame, do I want to be doing this in 5 years? How would I feel if this was it for the end of my life? All of a sudden then I start imagining what would be beyond what I'm doing. Because if you have a hard time imagining it, look at where you're at, look at where you can project it into the future and how that would feel. And that's going to give you an idea of areas where you might start allowing your imagination to run. And this is a powerful, powerful creative time for Taurus. So this is just a really good way to get those creative juices going and to start expanding your mind beyond the comfortable, beyond the expected, and to look at what might be better for you. And what might be better for you, okay? Because you can be amazing caretakers, and in some ways that's part of what helps you maintain a sense of structure and control. Control is not the right word. A sense of structure that allows you to work within in a way that is familiar. But it's not always the best thing for you. Sometimes that's what takes you out of being more creative, being more joyful, being a little bit more spontaneous, which, Taurus, deep down, and for some of you, not that deep, you want that. You want to be adventurous. There is a part of you that does want something bigger and different, who longs for a little bit more of that freedom, okay? Quantum leap of faith and lean into grace, okay? That's it for you, dears. You take care. Happy dreaming.